make it today, so I will call the meeting to order. Tracy is unable, she got a problem at school with her children or whatever, so she's going to record the minutes off of our recorded meeting. All right. So let's call the meeting to order and let's do our Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody see the flag?
Yep.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, gentlemen. Moving on, we have our minutes, which Don has provided to everybody. I hope you've all had a chance to review them. I will entertain a motion to waive the reading of those minutes.
Second.
Who moved? I don't even know.
So moved.
Moved, Nikki, seconded by Greg. All in favor of waiving the reading of the minutes, say aye. Aye. Thank you.
Aye.
Motion to approve those minutes.
Motion to approve.
Nick, seconded by Joe. Is that Joe?
Yes.
Seconded by Joe. Are there any corrections, omissions, changes, anything anybody wants to suggest? Hearing nothing, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're fine, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, sure.
Correspondence, Lieutenant, have we got any correspondence or public correspondence? None? Hearing none?
Yeah, nothing. Nope.
Moving on to our unfinished business, as always, our sightline survey. Has anybody heard any complaints in any problem areas that we need to or should address or ask the police department to address? Hearing none, we'll move on to our safety signs. Don, thank you very much. I never realized how many safety signs we have.
Yeah.
We got a bunch. And these look to be very, very nice and good shape. And thank you very much for getting them changed out. They seem to be very timely in terms of their spring effect. That being said, everybody got pictures of those, correct?
Yes.
All right. We mentioned last time, we talked about Tristan's Law. For those of you who may recall, Tristan was a young, I don't know, 5 or 6 year old who was hit while getting an ice cream on Weiss Road. There's a push in right now in the legislature to pass a law which will require ice cream trucks and the like to have similar equipment as a school bus. That law, that bill was today presented to the Senate. And I don't know whether it passed or not, but if it did pass the Senate today, then next week it should go to the House for approval. Basically, what it states is that for 2021 July through July 21 or 22, the ice cream trucks will be required to stop and to not allow children, quote unquote, to cross from the other side of the street to their vehicle or to the ice cream truck without an adult. So basically, for a year, it's going to force the ice cream trucks to change their route so that they're always on the side of the road where the children are. In the future, I believe it's 2022 and beyond, trucks will be required to have lights and signals similar to a school bus. Personally, I think it's a good law. People say, oh, gee, you're going to force these people to spend money. Well, I don't know what Tristan's life was worth, but I guess it would have been worth it. I suggested, I think I showed it to all of you through an email, suggested by a resident, that we put on our safety signs a sign saying slow/stop for the ice cream truck. I like it. I'd like to do it. However, if it becomes law and the law becomes effective July 1st, I think we should add to that a suggested slow/stop for an ice cream truck. It's the law. I think it makes a greater impact. Thoughts, people?
Sounds good.
Go ahead, Jim.
I just mentioned, I don't know, there's a couple of bills addressing this, actually. There's one, at least in the House side, or coming out of the Children's Committee, and there was one in the Transportation Committee. The one in the Transportation Committee I know had, the stipulation was the driver had to stop and then could proceed at I think, a maximum of 5 miles an hour until they passed the the ice cream truck. So I think we just need to wait and see what the actual legislation is going to say, obviously. But I think having signage that says something along those lines would be great.
Greg, I think you had your hand up.
Nope, I agree.
Joe?
Yeah, so I think just like what Jim was saying too, is maybe really learning what the verbiage of what this law is going to be before we start putting up signs and quoting it as law. So maybe we'll find out by next week.
Well, no.
I do know it's had a lot of support up there. I think it's going to definitely going to pass here. I think they've been kind of expediting it too because they want it to be in place before the sort of summer season starts.
Nikki, comments?
No, completely agree.
Excellent. It's also nice that our budget will be refreshed on July 1st, which helps too. But I'd like to see to it that those signs are done once we know what the law says. Sidewalk update. Thanks for sending along the sidewalk ordinances. Don, I appreciate it. And the crosswalk ordinances.
Okay.
I just told Don and to Greg, who was on the meeting earlier, that my wife and I went to Costco on Tuesday, and on the way up to Costco on West Main Street, there was a couple walking through the crosswalk on West Main Street without the light on. So I figured, come on, people. Coming back, there was a girl with her earphones on doing the opposite direction with no light on. So I talked to George Nawatney that afternoon about something completely different. And I said to him, how much money do we spend or does the state spend to put those things in? Nobody's using them. So I just hope to God that we don't have a serious accident that's going to require whatever. It's just, people are foolish and it scares the heck out of me. All right, off the soapbox, Francis. Sidewalk update, radar monitoring. Don, we've got something on nowhere.
Yeah, the boxes aren't out yet. The stanchions that go in at the crosswalks on the trail are out, I've heard. I haven't checked them physically yet, but our traffic guy told me they are out.
I noticed the two on Mountain Road. They look very nice. I just hope people use them.
Yep.
One on Weiss is out there too already.
Okay.
Remind me, how do we decide where we're putting the speed monitors again?
They go out if we get complaints for speeding. We'll put them out in those areas a lot. I know they went out last year on Weiss Road following the fatal accident just to see what overall speeds were. That's typically what they do. If we get complaints a lot, we put them out there, and we'll put them out with the flashes of speed for a while. But a lot of times it's just so it's recording the speed. A lot of times we get complaints for speeding that cars are going 75 down my street over a 2-3 week period. That just doesn't prove to be true. So
You get reports for all those boxes?
yeah, we do get reports for them. Yeah.
I think Don shared a report with us at a meeting back
Yep.
in December or January, one of the two.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I had asked for a speed limit, thing at on Route 10 when we were walking the dog. I said, these guys are doing 80 miles an hour, which they weren't. And Don shared me the report. It's like this thick, and it's got the maximum speed, the average speed, whatever. Most of the traffic is within a reasonable amount for the speed limit, which it's 35 miles an hour on Route 10 by our house, and they're considering 45 mile an hour reasonable. So anyway.
I can try to get one of those for a future meeting, Greg. Now that we've added some people, we should probably try to do that again and just let everyone see what that looks like if you want, Frank.
Yeah, if you have those when we have the boxes finished up, I'd appreciate it.
Sure.
Have there been, to your knowledge, Don, has there been places over the years that have been, repeatedly asked to be monitored?
I'd have to look that up, Jim. I know there were spots historically that were always complaints and were always kind of speed spots. Mountain Road's always been a speed spot
Right.
that we enforce on. Peck Lane, we've getting reports on Wallingford Road a lot down at the bottom toward the Wallingford side.
Yeah.
For
Mountain Road's a big problem.
Was that
my house?
Road.
Greg's house.
yeah. So
I mentioned that because I mentioned that because I wonder if we could have we could talk about and maybe budget for having permanent I've seen on like posts, small speed monitors that tell people what their what the speed is as they're going by. It seems like something that if we have, like Mountain Road, I've heard that over and over again. Peck Lane makes sense, especially where it kind of narrows down toward West Main Street. There's certain places where it seems to me where we should just have these speed registers that just tell people. I mean, they don't tell people, but they indicate what people's speeds are, and they do. To me, it seems to work. It's just very easy to not kind of pay attention to what your speed is. The roads tend to be so wide, and you can go relatively fast and not even really notice it. So
some of them flash when you're going faster than the speed limit too.
That too, yeah, that too. I've been in some places where they give you like a little sad face if you're going too fast. There's lots of different things you can do with them, I think, but yeah, it just seems like a unit that's relatively small really just shows you what your speed is and maybe flashes or something. That doesn't seem like that would be that expensive, but could be famous last words. I don't know, but
Yeah, I can look at
something
the question
have
is studying how many and where they go, I guess, right?
Yeah, that too. I just think that they're obviously, if we have places that have been repeatedly asked about, then we should probably look at actually doing a little more in those areas than we had been.
Donnie,
I have seen stuff just like that.
do we have any of those signs that do tell you how fast you're going? I know we have the recorders.
I believe the recorders are able to flash your speed, but we don't always have them doing that.
Joey?
Yeah, no, I have seen other towns have that posted, like more specifically West Hartford on a street that runs parallel to Farmington Ave. People will go on a side road to try to bypass the traffic, but they would have permanent like little stations by major crosswalks or parks or schools as a like, oh, hey, this is your speed. And maybe not necessarily, I don't know if it's a logging box at all, but certainly alerts drivers to how fast they're going. And Jim brings up a point too. If there's Peck Lane and Mountain Road that might have drivers that are unaware of their speed or unfocused on it, and certainly grabbing their attention and awareness.
Don, could you check on those for us, please? And see
One
if
of the other benefits could be is if we're having these permanent permanent monitors or registers, whatever you want to call them, then we can use our portable ones in other places more often or something.
Okay. Mr. Wolf, the floor is yours.
Okay.
I asked Greg and Lauren to look at a bunch of questions that they would propose for a survey talking about town safety. And Greg actually did that. I think he shared it with the commission. So I'd
Everyone
like
get
to
those?
take the bull by the horns, Greg, and shoot away.
Well, I just wanted to get everyone else's opinion on it and see, like I said, I'm coming at it. I just want to make it clear that I'm coming at it from what I experienced. So if other people on this commission have other experiences that they would be curious if others in town wanted to chime in on, I would appreciate that. And I think the point of it is to focus where we're working, where we want to spend our time, like what Jim was saying with the signs. If the community has opinions, that would be wise to focus on that.
Comments, Nikki, did you have a chance to look at it? Nick?
I'm pulling it up right now.
I
Joe,
did take a minute to
have
look.
you had a chance to look at it, pal?
I did, and I also have it in front of me.
You what? I'm sorry?
I also have it.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Comments, questions, suggestions, anybody? I think it's a great start, Greg. I really do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I did talk to Nowotny about putting on those 911 blue cells along the trail. Hamden did it. They're $10,000 a copy. And we would need probably at least 8 of them. I think that's a little past our budget. And also, I made the point to Greg that I think for the most part, now I got to the bicyclists who use the trail all the time. Do you carry your cell phone with you, Jim, when you ride?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Greg, do you?
Yep.
There again, people who walk the trail, people who run the trail, people who ride the trail, probably more than likely carry a cell phone with them. And basically, these $10,000 towers are nothing more than a direct connection through cell phone to 911. So my point would be that, you know, I'd like that question answered. Do you carry a cell phone with you? We've got 2 out of 2 right here that say yes. You know, unfortunately, I don't walk the trail or do anything on the trail, but, you know, so I think that that's an important question.
So
Other than that, you know, where do you feel safe? Where do you not feel safe?
how do we plan to administer these surveys to
That I have,
the public?
that's where I request the help from everyone else because
Yeah.
I don't know.
That and looking at the surveys as well, if we're talking about cell phones, maybe as opposed to having a survey with, I don't even know how many questions are here, but pick somewhere between 5 and 10 questions focused on a particular subject or goal that we want to collect, or what we feel like is most important first. So if it's about the stationary towers versus cell phones, then focus on questions related to that.
I think that's a great idea, is to keep the survey relatively simple and short.
Right.
I do think that the question of cell phone versus tower is basically one question.
Yeah.
You know, it's basically one
Right.
question. I think that what Greg is after here is, more importantly, is, you know, riding the trail. What do you see as a problem?
It's not just the trail though. That what the thing that I would love to eventually see happen out of all of this is a way for, again, I come at it as a cyclist in this town, a way for me to communicate to Don and then to the town, whoever is in charge of, say, paving a road. If I'm on a bike and I have the 2 feet on the side of the road as my place to ride, and that is where I'm riding is in a horrible position or a horrible shape, and I need to go into the road, I would love to be able to find a way for the town to communicate that. So
Okay.
initially, if we had some sort of survey where we could have solicit people saying that, like, are you comfortable walking on the side of the road near your house? And if that's a no, I would love to know where that is. So that we can focus on things like the speeding. If people say, I am not comfortable walking on Mountain Road between such and such road because cars are always flying by me. That's a data point that we can then put forward to the speed monitors or whatever else like that. That's one of in my head, a goal for maybe not this particular survey, but some other function of this group.
Right. I feel like every single one of these questions have very good use and value. Just because that is the case doesn't mean we have to put them all in one place and use them
100%
all
agree.
at the same time. This is a great pool of questions for us to use in the future.
100% agree.
How about if I throw out, well, first of all, Greg, what is the Hawk system?
That's the system on the West Main Street Trail. I don't know what it stands for anymore. I forgot. I can't remember. It's the flashing lights over the West Main Street crossing that you were discussing earlier.
Got it. Now I understand what it is. I didn't know what it was.
Can't remember what it stands for.
So, what does the commission feel in terms of, out of all these wonderful questions, if we're going to do a survey, make it smaller and make it more poignant, what would be the number of trail safety?
Yeah, I think maybe to 2 separate things: trail safety and then general road safety, neighborhood safety, community safety, but then 1 for the trail.
Jim, you were going to say something.
You're saying 1 question for the trail?
No. I'm saying an area.
Like a 5-question survey versus a 30-question survey.
Right.
Well, I don't think the length, obviously we want to, and Greg wasn't, I don't think, intending for this first draft to be like the survey. So we need to work on it more, but I think the length is right now is not too long. But it can certainly be refined, which we'll do. If someone is filling out a survey online, which is, I think, how we would distribute it, something that takes them 10 or 15 minutes is not too long. And this is the length of it is right now is probably a 10 or 15-minute survey at most. I think I agree with Greg. It's like, I think we want to get from the public a sense of where the problem areas are for people in town, where they feel comfortable or uncomfortable walking and running, where they feel what they feel about, areas to ride the bike, or, where they feel like we need more crosswalks, or where we need more signage for this and for that. I think that's what we are hoping to get from the public on this. And then we can this group can kind of address those problem areas. That seems like a good use of this survey. I don't know. I just think we should sort of think a bit more about the structure of the survey a little bit and the questions, but I think it's a really good start.
How does one conduct a survey? How do you do that?
There's a whole website called surveymonkey.com that you can upload. I mean, I'm sure there's an unlimited amount of questions you can ask.
Yeah,
I think we can actually
individuals and organizations alike use SurveyMonkey, whether it's internal corporate stuff or to the public.
I think we can actually even just
An app for everything.
I think we can actually just set up a Google form with a survey on Google form, and then you can share that link on the form in various places. I don't think we even need to go SurveyMonkey. We would need an account, and we need to, as far as I know, we'd have to have a database, an email database to send the survey to from SurveyMonkey. So I could be wrong, but I think it's as simple as setting up a Google form.
I think you can click into a survey. So if you say you shared it on the forum, say the Cheshire Forum or something like that, I think you can click into a survey and take it, and then it will just tabulate the results like that, I think.
Okay.
Good. Excellent. Other comments, questions, suggestions?
And like as was stated before, if there's other little subcategories that I'm totally missing, by all means, I'm sure there's plenty of other safety related concerns in this town that don't involve bikes and people walking and sidewalks. And the one other one I thought of that I had thought of earlier is the bears. I don't know if that was like the last one on there, but that becomes a genuine concern in this town. It was at least last year, the year before. Is there something that we could do with that too? That's where I'll leave it.
It's interesting you should say that, Greg, because our house abuts woods in the back. So far, it's bobcats, coyotes, deer, all sorts of, but no bears, thank God. not so far. But they have been in town, Don. Remember, who was it? Your neighbor took the picture of the crossing your street?
Me?
Wasn't it you?
No,
Yeah, you had a picture somewhere last year of a bear walking across the street.
Oh, that might have been Peck Lane, I think. Yeah.
With kids out playing. I love it. Again, Greg, I want to say thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
You got us a great start, and we will address this again during the month and then again, hopefully in May. Moving along the agenda to our treasurer's report. Nothing's changed. We don't have any money left. I did have asked Don to get us quotes from O&D, is it, for possible four signs. I also want to ask the commission about this. We did a great job last year with our little portable signs, I'll call them, the little cardboard signs with, I think we put up 50 of them. Unfortunately, Mr. Jinx was the first one to lose one along his home street there.
Wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault.
That sounds like a song from the Osborne Brothers. It's not my fault. I would like to consider putting, I think Don and I counted earlier, 6 to 8 signs in the parking lots, permanent signs, not these cardboard ones, because they'll disappear too. Permanent signs in the parking lot with the same type of information. Lock your car, take your keys, and remove your belongings. Because the areas where cars are parked are a prime place for people to have their car broken into. Not necessarily stolen, but broken into. So, I'd like to consider that when we have some more money in July, of putting permanent signs at those parking lots along the trail. I think Don and I counted six lots?
5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah, 5 or 6. So your thoughts on that? I mean, is it a decent idea? Is it a stupid idea? What do you think?
It's a good idea.
Yes.
It's good.
Yep.
And I think the kiosks that they have, the kind of signed kiosks at these lots are still not really being used for anything. There's certainly space there to put signs on.
Would be great. All righty. Speaking of that, let's look at our monthly reports from the fire department and our police department. I have a question, Donald Miller,
Yes, sir.
being as how you're now head of traffic. How is it, why is it that on page 1 of the chief's report, motor vehicle thefts are listed for the month of March as 1? And if you go to page 2, if I read this correctly, theft of motor vehicle complaints 4.
That could be as easy as a typo. It could be, I'll have to have Tracy clarify that. It could
This is
be,
very clearly, Donnie, 4 in March,
yes.
18th, 20th, and 2 on Stacy Court.
I think the numbers on the front page is what she puts into our called the NIBR system officially. So I might have to wait until the case is fully run, something on those lines. It's a record keeping thing. And we've had a couple times where the numbers don't jive with the actual numbers from the month. But I'll look into that, Frank.
You'll notice on page 2 also, gentlemen, that Wallace and catalytic converters seem to be the hot spots now. I mean, it's got to take a lot of brass to climb underneath a car and cut out the catalytic converter. You know, I don't know. It's got to be a monkey doing that. I have no idea how you do it. How big is a catalytic converter? It's like this, right? How big is it?
Depends on the car, but yeah, it's about right.
What do they think of next? I see our pistol permits are keeping up, 28 of them. I was telling Don, I don't know whether you're interested in it, but there was an article on the internet tonight, which I read because I found it of interest, that there were 121 deaths caused as a result of a traffic stop in the United States. Shootings, tasering, causing death or whatever, out of 20 million traffic stops. And this article was proposing that we defund the police department and have a non-armed group of people do traffic stops rather than the policemen. And I don't know what this world is coming to in terms of, you know, what would you gain by that? 121 out of 20 million. Admittedly, we've had a rash of these foolish and whatever killings, but you know, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I would hope it doesn't make sense to this commission either. Looking at the fire department report, I got to talk to Kasner. There's 9, whatever it is. Where is it? It's the same woman. We talked about her last month. Okay. She's got 2 false alarms again this month. 9 Pleasant Drive. She's got 2 false alarms. It looks like that's second only to Beachport, which has 1, 2, 3, 4 alarms, all false in the month of March. I don't know what we can do about it. I'm not sure Jack Kasner knows what he can do about it. But he did say, unfortunately, that when I talked to him, that they realized that if 9 Pleasant Drive comes in with an alarm, he's basically sending 2 guys over to see what's going on. Well, God forbid there should be a real fire sometime, you know. There'll be hell to pay. So I don't know what we do. Suggestions, thoughts? Do we find the lady? It doesn't meet the ordinance. It's a malfunction, false alarm.
Can we have someone go over there and fix it?
It's not that, Greg. I would say yes if that were the case. Apparently, she likes to cook. And her house, the alarm is in the kitchen. Who installs a smoke detector over a stove or in a kitchen with a stove? So I don't know. I really don't know. I know that Jack is friends with Michelle Picarillo from Human Services, and he was going to ask that they meet with this woman. Apparently, she's on the onset dementia. So, you know, it's a tough situation, but God, I don't want to see anybody getting hurt, her or anybody else. You know, it's a shame. It really is. Beachport, Donnie, is that one residence, two residents, how many residents in Beachport? I don't even know.
That's the one with Mountain Road?
That is the one on Brumberg Road or whatever it is.
Oh.
Beachport's off West Main Street. It's a affordable housing development.
Yes, I'd have to look that up for you, Frank.
So that is what you call, that is probably more than one. It's sort of like John Capone's Hillside Village, where they get, 15 a month and it's all different units rather than one unit.
Yeah, there's different units. I want to say there's 20 or 30 residents in there or something. It might not be quite that many, but
Kind of tough to stop that if it's the same. But this 9 Pleasant Drive is one woman, one house, one woman. Okay. Moving along to our next and final. We have discussion of crosswalks, pedestrians, and bicycles. People have got to pay attention. People have got, what has this commission seen in terms of their personal experiences? I've already expressed mine with regard to the West Main Street intersection, pedestrian intersection. Joe, you're familiar with the Jarvis Street one. Is what you call it? Is that being abused or used or what?
So I think on Jarvis Street, people have been much more attentive on commuting hours. Frequently, cars are slowing down, some even to a complete stop at this point. And once again, coming from one direction, you almost have to make a complete stop in order to assure that you're not going to have someone ride out in front of you.
Vicky?
It's much better here than it is in New Haven every day.
A lot of things are much better here than they are in New Haven.
That's true.
Jim, bicyclists, what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the trail goes, I mean, my experience has been I see drivers usually slowing down. There's certainly been occasion where they just kind of fly through the intersection or the trail intersection. For the most part, I see people using the trail, carefully approaching the crossing and checking, and drivers doing the same. I just don't see what everyone tends to complain about. But maybe I'm just looking at the world through my rose-colored glasses.
That's not a bad idea in this day and age, Mr. Jenks. How about bicyclists, Greg? What do you see with that?
On the trail?
Yep.
I think that there's always a problem with, and it's not just bicycles, it's exactly what you were speaking of earlier, people who think that people are so accustomed to timing traffic and dodging traffic that they have a better, or they think they have a better idea of how much space is between the car coming at them on the trail than might be the reality. So a lot of people will go through those intersections again at speed because they're already riding, and they have a visual, or they think they have a visual. So it's always going to be a problem. It's a problem on every road. It's the same as a cyclist rolling through stop signs. You don't always come to a complete stop. It's not legal, but that's the reality of it.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments on our crossings or bicyclists or pedestrians or whatever? As far as projects for the future, I think this survey is an excellent one. I think the signage is an excellent idea. I think we've got 2 signed projects now, one for the parking lots and one for our It's the Law, Tristan's Law, hopefully next week, as Jim points out. Hopefully we'll get through the legislator next week and we'll see what happens. Anything else, new business, gentlemen?
I just have a question.
Sure.
Don, you shared the pictures of the new crosswalk that they installed on Mountain Road.
Yes.
Can you explain why that was chosen? Why that spot was chosen?
I think that there was, I don't know if there was, I don't want to say petitions, but requests from residents in the area for something there because of they crossed to go to Doolittle, I believe. But I don't know 100% why, because I think we talked about it last time. A lot of the intersections in town didn't meet the criteria, right, Frank, for one of those?
Yeah, I'll tell you, is it the crosswalk at Cornwall? Where is it? Where did they move it to?
That is the Cornwall extension, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a, it's down the street from school.
But my question is, how many people cross the street into the, you're crossing Mountain Road into like two houses.
Right.
I don't
Well,
know.
if
That's
it's
how you do
where,
that neighborhood though, right?
What's that?
if it's where I think it is, there was a new, not only the Cornwall extension, but just down to the, if you're facing Cornwall extension, kind of to the left, there's a new development behind Mountain Road of about 15 to 20 houses there.
Does it connect to that new road that they created?
Yes.
From
It doesn't
behind
doesn't
Cornwall?
connect. It doesn't connect to Cornwall extension, but it does come into Mountain Road.
But the sidewalk is
And-
on the other side of the street.
Well, you could well from where this new development is, you could easily, it's a short walk down to wherever this crosswalk is to be walking to Doolittle.
Okay.
Other
Um,
comments, questions, suggestions? Our next meeting is scheduled for March 12th. Like Lauren, my wife and I are planning on doing some traveling for the first time in 14 months and going to see our kids in another place than Minnesota. I wish we weren't going to Minneapolis, but no. So the meeting is Wednesday. Donnie, do you think we're going to have a Zoom meeting again in May?
I would guess so. Jim, do you know of anything moving on that front or?
we're just talking as a council about having meetings again, but I think in May we may have our first meeting in the council chambers again, but nothing has been decided just yet. So
Okay.
I think that because we're a relatively small group, if we were to ask the town manager if we could have our meetings in the council chambers again, I think we probably could, because I think we're small enough we could do that. But I don't know for sure. We have to ask.
I'll reach out.
I'd like to suggest this, not to be selfish about it, but I don't want to miss a meeting if I don't have to. If we do a Zoom meeting next month, May 12th, I will be in Minnesota quickly enough to be able to Zoom from Minnesota. If we do a council chambers meeting, I will not be able to attend the meeting on the 12th. So I just want to let people know that in advance.
You might also want to, Don, maybe anonymously, see what the feelings of the group are in meeting in person. So some of us may have concerns about meeting in person in council chambers. So that's why I suggest that.
Who's gotten their shots?
I got my
I've
first
got-
one Monday.
First one,
I got my first one.
Jimmy?
My second one's next week.
Okay, so by May, pretty much everybody's gonna have their shots.
I
Okay,
don't know.
if first comes to shove, Don, and we're gonna meet in person, is there any objection for the council or the commission to perhaps meeting on Monday, rather? Your meeting would be Tuesday, Jim, correct?
Yeah, most council meetings right now are Tuesday. We're in budget now too, so I think Tuesday and Thursday primarily. There's always a chance we'll have a Monday or Wednesday meeting, but usually Tuesday or Thursday.
Is it every Tuesday and Thursday?
Right now, yeah, more or less.
Wow. God bless you guys, you're crazy.
I think we can meet on Zoom again in May,
Yeah, we can.
the regular time, and then just discuss a June return to town council or to the chambers.
Everybody agree with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Greg,
Yep.
Jimmy?
We should also just check with the town manager and see what his thoughts are on letting, because if we have our meetings back in there, then other groups may want to have their, and we just need to see if that's going to be feasible. So.
I will talk to him tomorrow.
And doing it this way too will give us an extra month to discuss that with the town manager and judge his feelings.
Don, thank you very, very much. Tell Tracy we missed her, and I will thank you all personally for taking such a great interest. And I will have a motion to adjourn our meeting.
So moved.
Moved.
Second.
Thank you very much. Seconded.
Second.
Guys, God bless, good luck, and stay safe, please.
All right, have a good night.
Everybody.
Thank you.